Okay, welcome to Misadventures in Bag Making. In this series of videos, I'm going to show you how to fix some of the mishaps that can come along when you are making quilted bags. Most of my tips are primarily aimed at patterns by Annie, but they'll work on any bags that are constructed in a similar way. So quilted fabric, binding, these aren't really going to be aimed at bags that are birthed, quote unquote birthed, where you pull the lining out and all that. So one of the questions I'm asked most often as far as mistakes go is what to do if you cut a piece of quilted fabric too short. Do you have to start over or can it be fixed? It can be fixed. Good news. You do not have to start over. It's actually pretty easy to fix this mistake. So just for an example, let's say that I cut this piece of quilted fabric an inch shorter than I should have. Maybe I was looking at the pattern before I had my coffee. Who knows? These things happen. Everybody messes up. Don't feel bad. I've done this many times. Life goes on. It can be fixed. So what you'll need for this is a small piece of your lining fabric. It needs to be at least the width of the piece you're working with, and for length, it needs to be long enough to cover your boo-boo plus at least ½ inch. So if I cut this an inch too short, this piece needs to be at least the width of this, and then for length, I want it to be at least 1.5 inches. Okay, so that's the lining fabric, and then you need a similarly sized piece of your main fabric. Okay, and then you also need a small piece of soft and stable, or whatever foam you have used for your bag. If you used a different brand, you want to try to match what you have. I have 2 different colors here just so you can see what I'm doing, but you want to match the color and the type of foam that you used here. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the piece of lining fabric and lay it down with the right side up. You want to be looking at the right side of the fabric here. Okay, and if you're using a scrap, just make sure it's smooth on the end. If it's raggedy, just trim a little bit off so it's nice and smooth here. Okay, so I have that scrap of lining fabric right side up, and then I'm going to line up the edge of my quilted piece with the top of this piece. Okay, I'm going to line those up, and then I'm going to take the piece of main fabric and put it right side down and align it with that same edge. Okay, let me show you again what I did. Lining fabric right side up, quilted fabric, scrap of main fabric right side down. Okay, and now you're going to take this to your machine and sew all 3 of these pieces together with a 1/4 inch seam. Okay, so I sewed those together with a 1/4 inch seam. I used black thread so you can see what I'm doing. You want to use thread that blends in with your fabric. Okay, so now what you want to do is press on this side to set the seam and press this piece up. And then on the lining side, press to set the seam and then press this piece up. Okay, so once you have it pressed, it should look something like this. And now what you're going to do is fold the piece of main fabric down. And now you need your little scrap of soft and stable or whatever foam you're using. And you're going to butt this piece of soft and stable up against the soft and stable that was in your already quilted piece. Okay, so this is going on top of the lining fabric. Butt it up against that soft and stable. You don't want the 2 pieces overlapping. And then you're going to fold your piece of main fabric up over the soft and stable. Okay, so let me show you what it looks like from the side here. Okay, so you can see my original piece is white and my new piece is black. That's just to show you what I'm doing. So the 2 pieces of soft and stable should be butted up against each other as close as possible without overlapping. Okay, so you've got your lining fabric, soft and stable, main fabric. So what you need to do next is you can clip this or pin this in place if you want. I find it easier to just hold it with my hands. And then you just need to extend your quilting onto this piece that you just added. Now, there are ways to make this look pretty much seamless if you fussy cut your fabric, and if you're very careful about how you extend the quilting to make it match up as much as possible. If you're using a fabric where the quilting is not as noticeable, this is much easier. This is a solid fabric, so I would have to be really careful to make it match up as exactly as possible. But if you're careful and if you're good with fussy cutting, if that's needed for your fabric, this can be a pretty much invisible fix. Okay, so I hope this helps. If you have any questions, let me know. If there are any mistakes you would like me to fix for you, I will make a video about those as well. If you are not already in the Buy Any Bag Makers group on Facebook, please come join us. It's for everyone from absolute beginners to experts and everybody in between. I will put a link in the description. Okay? Happy sewing!